solo thing. Ready?
Can you,
That was my clap. Did we get it?
did I have green things in my teeth?
Yeah, right on your lip. This feels... Okay, now this feels like I'm not talking to you. Here's the problem, is now the audience sees my side profile. They see how big my nose is. Here I have been, straight on the camera, hiding this beak. Folks, we all got issues. Let me check the sound here. I think I sound good. Boy, we really upped our game with this sound quality. Got a compliment the other day about that. Did a bonus episode
That's
on
nice.
420. Did you see?
No, I didn't.
I had Tema Louise on, who runs the weed show, Wake and Bake. So I figured what better than to do a bonus 420 episode. Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah.
Anyway.
What about an Earth Day episode? Why didn't you do that? Earth Day is important.
I won Earth Day. Did you know that? In 5th grade, we had an Earth Day. Do we do an intro or do we just get right into it? Sex Actually Podcast. Your host, Dave Neal. Co-host, Tasha Courtney.
Hello.
We're recording this from the World Studio headquarters of the SAP in Silver Lake, California. And we're also recording this on the YouTubes. And if you want to see Tasha without a bra on, that's YouTube. Well, I always wanted to mention this later, but did you see the thing that they're trying to make bras mandatory in high school, at this one high school?
I was wondering if my school had that as a rule. I don't remember, but I do know that I many days did not wear a bra to school.
What's your stance on it?
You should not have to wear a fucking bra. You shouldn't have to.
Do you think that nipples, that the female boobs are distracting to boys?
I don't think that should be our problem.
No, but answer the question. Are tits
I think, it's the chicken and the egg kind of a thing. Oh man, I sound gross.
Did the chicken not wear a bra to the hen?
The point is that it's so like secretive that it makes it extra sexualized. Does that make sense?
You had nipples out this
if
weekend.
you saw, okay, that was an accident.
Tasha had nipples out on the. I'm great at spotting nipples. I spotted a nipple that Tasha had out from an Instagram photo from like 4 years ago. Go through Tasha's Instagram and see if
it wasn't on Instagram.
It was on Instagram.
No, it wasn't. No. It was on Facebook.
Anyway, point is I've got nipple radar. I can see a nipple. If a nipple pops and it's not even in my peripheral, I go, I think a nipple's popped. I look around and I can see a nipple popped. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. I'm bad at that. People email and tell me I'm bad at it.
But the point is that if we didn't make it such a big, like if people just were allowed to have no bra in their daily life every day, it wouldn't be such a big deal for boys to see a nipple.
Well, you know why? Because with this butt craze that we've got going on in the world for the last couple of years, it's not crazy to see a chick with a thong bikini. By the way, I also have to catch myself. I've been getting shit for saying chick. God forbid I call women chicks. Are we chickens? Chicken in the hen? Chicks. You're all chicks to me. That's my lingo.
Everyone's just improving you, babe.
Are you okay with me saying chick?
I don't I don't know.
As a woman who I value and appreciate in life, can I say chick?
I just think that a lot of words that we use to describe women sort of like diminish them. They make them seem like young and dumb. Like,
all right, so I need to say mature. So now all the dames have thongs on. So there's these dames with thongs, thong bikinis. Just kind of the scrunched butt thing. That would have caused many accidents several years ago, and it still will. I mean, you guys are still going to check it out, but it's not like what? It's like, okay. Now we see more of your ass.
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that like if it wasn't...
Normalize the nipple.
Yes.
Normalize the nipple. That should be a good hashtag. Do you think that's out there? Should we make that? Should that be the title of the episode? Normalize the nipple. That's going to be the title of the episode. We got it. Okay. 4 minutes in. Cool. I think it's highly distracting to boys. But I also think that it should be you should be able to do what you want with your body.
Yeah,
but I guess there's no line there. So it's like, can a girl have like her under tit out? At what point do you draw the line? If you can show nipple.
Well, no, but it's not about showing nipple. It's nobody's seeing any nipple. It's just that you're not wearing a bra under your shirt. Schools still have rules that say like no bare midriff, but that applies to men and women. The point is that we shouldn't have a separate dress code for women just because they're women, just because it might distract men.
But the difference is that women aren't distracted by a guy whose shorts are too short. Most of the time.
But still, the rule is the same. Shorts have to be longer than your fingertips.
I agree with
and
you.
it applies to you and to me. So, like, that's fair.
I remember this one girl who always had hard nipples in high school. And I could with the help of a sketch artist, tell you exactly what she looked like. It's just, as a boys growing up, men, I mean, even to this day, I remember when Shannon's top fell off at the beach, and all the guys noticed, and no one told her because we were so excited to see tits for the first time. We all if
Someone's top fell off and she didn't notice.
Shannon's top fell off. We were on the dock. I remember it like it was yesterday. And Shannon went off the edge, jumping into the water, and she came back up the ladder. And, like, you're flopping around, this and that. She came back up the ladder, and all the guys are standing there, and we all just saw that her bra was underneath her tit. And it was our Super Bowl. It was the Super Bowl of Portsmouth High School, 2001. We were high-fiving. We were recounting the moment. We were describing what her nipples looked like to each other.
Do you realize how lame this makes you sound?
Is it lame or see, I don't even know if it's illegal at this point because someone's going to be like, you were objectifying a 16-year-old. I was 16 and I had boners for weeks because of this. We remembered everything about Shannon's boob. And Shannon, thank you so much for that. Just so you know, I mean, like that's what women don't really. I mean, men, we're just insane. We're insane the way we look at the female body, and unfortunately, with the wrong amount of blinks, it comes off objectifying. Do you know what I mean? If I blink a little bit and play it cool, I can still check you out. But if I just look at you with this crooked neck, I look like a psycho. What's up with that? What's the difference between creep and charm? Serious question. You're being creeped out by someone right now, not me, but someone online you said creeped you out. And it's like, well, but like I've done the same thing, but you just decided you liked me.
No, I don't know. There is a difference. And I think that we're more sensitive than we give ourselves credit as human beings. I think that like when we trust our instincts, we can sort of like suss out a person's intention.
I didn't mean to make you sick with this topic. I didn't mean to give you the black lung. It's the lung of color. I just can't say anything anymore, folks. I've been getting a lot of shit online. It happened again.
I don't care and I don't want to hear about it.
The second time, here's what happened. Last episode, and I just want to inform you. Your teeth are fine. We're having smoothies. Last episode, I had Tema Louise on. It was a great talk. Tema is you've met her. She runs the Wake and Bake show. I mentioned to her, all the shit that I was receiving because I said that women get stage time easier in stand-up comedy. Mind you, this weekend is the Women in Comedy Festival in Boston, and every girl is doing like 17 stand-up shows. Every dame is doing 17 stand-up shows. But the point is, and I want to challenge you with this, Tasha, to have even the slight amount of conversation without you getting upset about it on behalf of women. I know you're already mad. You don't even know the topic, and you're looking at me like, fuck. Just a feeling like imagine if I was talking about smoothies and I loved smoothies, but all of a sudden smoothies are illegal because they're made with all these illegal things. So now I get disbarred from being a podcast host. There is not that that's a thing, but they take my right away. They silence me. I can no longer talk about smoothies because white men can't drink smoothies. So wouldn't you be upset for me and go, hey, what the fuck's going on with this? He's like anyone else.
No, and here's why. Because we haven't been able to talk about smoothies or had anyone listen or give a shit when we talk about smoothies for hundreds of years. So for the first time now, you're finally understanding what it feels like to have no one give a fuck when you talk about things.
So an eye for an eye means I don't get any smoothies?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, at least we know. So on behalf of all women, I don't get any smoothies. I don't get to enjoy the beautiful smoothie that I made, by the way, with kale and turmeric.
The point is that you have been not empathetic at all to our experience. And I'm saying you, and I'm pointing a finger at you. You have not been empathetic properly to our experience until you had that experience for yourself. Now you're up in arms about it, but only about your own personal experience. So what you need to understand is that other people have been dealing with this for a long fucking time.
Good. I agree with you. I did not truly find the empathy till I was silenced. So does that mean eye for an eye works? Maybe. Just don't take up my other eye. You know what I mean? Like you didn't.
But that's the point.
It wasn't an eye for an eye.
You're
You
supposed
scratched
to
my cornea.
learn a lesson. You're supposed to learn a lesson and be better in the future.
But let me ask you this: have I not been a champion for educating myself, for discovery, for inviting women on to talk about this?
But I think the point is that it's not just you learn once and then it's over.
Sure.
It's a constant battle.
But what's better, me taking the time to communicate with women? Dames.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You don't get to choose like how you are educated. If you're not going to do it for yourself, and then other people are going to help you along, and you don't get to choose what that process looks like.
Well, I'll give you that, and nowhere through the process have I told a woman she was wrong. I just found out that in what happened last week was I was silenced and shamed, and I think shame is something that's driving the good people into silence. Because, I mentioned it to you.
What about the shame that we've been experiencing for centuries?
Shame from those titties popping out, disturbing my biology class.
Not really, though.
I understand. Yeah, I do. I now understand. I mean,
why do you think that women sort of sit silent in a corner? You know what I mean?
I received because they got slapped for making a shitty dinner, and I shouldn't have. And I'm learning a lot, but what I'm also learning is that there is a fight for me. I deserve to be a part of the conversation. It's not men can't talk because this is a women issue. This is a man cause issue.
Maybe keep your uninformed opinions to yourself until you know a little better issue.
Fine, but also some of those uninformed opinions help us learn languages. We goo goo gaga our way into hi mommy daddy into I want poo poo. Which is exactly what you said this morning after your morning coffee. I need poo-poo.
I haven't had a single sip of my coffee.
Why haven't you had your coffee? Grab the coffee.
Because I was hungry first.
So the point. So this week, with Tema Louise, we came to this agreement, and I want to ask you if you believe in this. We came to this agreement that, and of course, it's always wrong to generalize, but we have to when talking about. There's statistically there's an average of the way women act versus the way men act. Statistically, would you agree with that? That women are more in touch with their emotions, have wider ranging emotions than men do, and anyway, which isn't always the case. I've been told by every guest that I'm the most feminine fucking energy.
But I think it's important to note that like some of that is nature and some of that is nurture.
Sure, I won't argue that. I want to argue how it is, but what we know is that we're equal yet different creatures. You and I specifically, we'll talk about us, we're completely different in the way that we internalize and externalize feelings, yet we come to the negotiating table, we love each other, right?
Yeah.
And that's important. Then don't pause. There was a little pause there, but
I have to take a breath through my mouth every time I want to say anything.
I can tell you're ready to vomit. So Tema Louise and I talked, and we came to the conclusion that women and men are attracted to slightly different things in men than men are in women. And I'll put it this way: women are more attracted to a guy's status, and I called it power.
I saw your post.
I watered it down that women are attracted to power. And men are more attracted to the physical appearance than anything.
I actually had a similar conversation with my roommate, Meg.
Ooh, Meg.
Yeah, we were talking about like skincare. We were in the bathroom doing her makeup, and I was like, you have great skin. She has great skin.
I'm so glad you guys became friends.
Yeah. But
where did you meet Meg? Where were you this week?
I went to Mexico with Arsenic. We went, we were in Monterey. There was a music festival going on. And,
yeah, women are really being silenced in Monterey, Mexico, in the VIP lounge. I'm kidding. Continue.
No, but anyway.
With all the thing, who's watching on YouTube? Look at the fucking arm. Look at these armbands she has on. What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
God, we get it. We get it. VIP. You think men are getting handed these invitations? How many men hang out behind the DJ booth? I'd love if the roles were reversed. It's tough being a lady. You get to see Diplo from 4 feet away. You can smell Diplo's farts. Okay? We're in the nosebleed section, and you're hanging out being like, oh, we all get to spin the beat. And then the beat drop.
All right, enough. But I said that, I don't even remember how it came up, but we were saying like, it's unfair that men don't have to do anything to their wrinkles. Like, they don't Botox, they don't dye their salt and pepper gray. They just get old and they're fine.
My gray hairs are coming in.
Because it's distinguished when a man like has some wrinkles and some grays, right? Because we associate that with being like established, older and established.
I see women as...
whereas women, like, it's a different value set. Sorry, my brain is like totally fried today. That like men value youth, right? And it's sort of like an evolutionary thing.
It's who's going to spawn me a healthy child?
So youth is beautiful. So we're over here injecting
So why did
ourselves.
I get lambasted for saying that? Lambasted? Because
well,
I called
probably said it not very delicately.
Well, probably not, but also it proves my point that it's not a conversation a lot of people are willing to have, and I think it's important. I get the resistance from you.
And all of the comments were like this: "Nuh-uh, I'm not. My boyfriend's not powerful." And it's like, well, but if you saw a hot guy, no, I'm just saying, like, if you saw a hot guy who was like lack of opportunity doesn't mean that you're not into it. Like, maybe you just didn't meet that like hot older man.
Or this girl Babs goes, why am I attracted to assholes? Well, you need to recalibrate what it is you're attracting, because law of attraction, I believe, is equal. It's an equal sign. So if you're attracting assholes, you're just in that stage of your life where you're an asshole. I'm sorry, folks. It's tough love. I attracted a difficult woman. I have some difficulties in myself I need to work out. I'm at least willing to admit that. Sure, you have a great ass, but as we pointed out, so do I, folks. So
you
do
have a pancake ass.
Why would you victim shame me? For not growing up in a nurturing environment where lunges were... We didn't all get to win bikini contests in high school, which I found out half an hour ago, folks, that Tasha won a bikini contest in high school. We actually have the footage of that. Can we pull that up? I'd pay several $100s. You won $300? I would pay $300 to see the video of you. What kind of bikini did you wear?
I don't remember.
I love it. I love the idea of you. How old were you?
17.
Your ass came in? You had a big ass?
Babe, I've always had a big ass.
So this is what, 4 years ago? How's my math on that, folks? So you met this girl Meg, who sometimes you go on these trips and it's a lot of fake tits and superficiality. Let's be honest. I mean, it's a dark side of the industry that has good moments, but there's Satan's temptations are right there. There are people there that are void.
Satan's
Put it this way.
temptations.
I mean, how many times have we been at a pool and you see this chick getting like her best friend's photo, and they're pushing up out of the pool with the thong hanging out, and it's like that's the only reason girls are friends with each other is to get those photos, right? So it's like you just see that side of the industry that's so vacuous and shallow.
That's the only reason. I would just say that maybe Instagram is vacuous and shallow, but
it's created this world where not only, I mean, naturally men want youth and attraction in a woman, but now with the internet, with the way women are being rewarded, it's almost like, sure, we have this giant feminist movement, but at the same time, we've got this horrible currency we've created called likes and follows that deems you only as important as the photo you post.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, I was thinking about this last night, but I was stoned and I knew you were stoned too.
So stoned.
I didn't even want to bother telling you this because I like had this like light bulb moment when I was sitting in the tub that was like, algorithms decide these days whether or not you are like important, right?
Yeah. That's
it's like the new
status.
Power. Yeah, it's the new
like our buddy
if you post a photo or a status, right? Because some of your status get hundreds and hundreds of comments, and then other things, crickets.
But
right?
It used to be gratitude would give you good comments, and now it's no. You got to talk about guns.
And same with photos. It's like you post something, and within the first 2 minutes, it has decided whether or not you're probably important and whether or not people probably want to see this thing.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It knows how long someone's staring at your photo. It knows if they've commented. So what happened with my gender comments 2 weeks in a row is that they got so much discussion that it became front page news on every single person's social media. That was a part of this, that followed. And And look, and the thing I've learned is that I was going on stage afterwards talking about it, and I was getting the attention of every guy there. And this isn't a men's rights movement. This is men needing to understand that, like, if you hear what I'm saying, we've got thousands of people that listen, and not one person. I mean, our friend Hannah, who listens, once emailed me or texted me, and she was like, "Dave, you're fucking wrong. You need to chill out with your point." I don't remember what it was, but so I do listen to the critiques that come, but not when it's some stranger saying he's a fucking moron.
Yeah, but hey, do you remember, like, I posted like a Bernie thing?
I talk about that all the time. That's my case study.
Right? But you're acting exactly the same way. You're acting like you don't have a safe space to talk about this. Well, guess what? Women haven't had a safe space to talk about stuff ever.
Right. But
like, if you really want to be enlightened, you should come from a place of not needing to say your own point, but a space where it's a real conversation and you're really listening.
Sure.
And you're talking about all these dudes coming up to you and being needing support, like wishing that they could say the things that you said. That just proves how, like, systemic this is
on both sides.
Yeah.
Because I know when a female comedian or someone becomes popular, other women flock to them and go, "Oh my gosh, I think you talk about your vagina in a way I've never heard." And I don't even mean that lightly. Like, women deserve the right to do all their comedy on their vaginas. You know what I mean? It's a complex organ, or sets of organs. There are flaps and pulleys and shoestrings and meat curtains and vulvatic...
Just eat it. You're making yourself look bad.
But men, we got a dick and a scrotum, which, by the way, I know I told you this. I was trying to get busy yesterday with Tasha, and she noticed blood on my boxer briefs. It's so funny how, like, how I've run out of shame to talk about stuff like this. And you were like, "What the fuck, Dave?" Like, I mean, that could have been like, I was banging some chick on her period. Could have been a whole myriad of things.
That's not what I thought
but
of.
the truth, and I had already told you this, is that I had a bad ball shaving experience the night before, and I guess I didn't change my boxer briefs. I shaved.
That's what you should have shame about. How often you do not change your socks and underwear often enough. I've seen a million times. I would say 50% of the time you pick up dirty socks off the floor and put them back on, which is why you have a foot fungus.
It's the same way I deal with toast. I blow the hair off the toast and I put it back on my body. I shaved. I was clipping my balls. I have a trimmer. Same one I use for my face. No shame. And you use it on your vagina, so you can cool it with your...
No shame.
No shame. So, because what's the difference? Ball hair, face hair, it's like... But my cousin Tim, who I used to live with, I used to use his face trimmer on my balls. That's something I finally can admit to. Which is like, joke's on me, because he probably used it on his ass. He had a hairy ass. So, joke's on me. But every guy listening has stolen their buddy's beard trimmer and used it on their balls or pits or asshole. So, it's true. And if you haven't, then... you're not living. The point is that I got in there on the scrotum. I wasn't even trying to get too close, but it's my back's a little sore. It's hard to bend over and get everything. And I got the moment where I kind of like
I don't want to hear
when you're mowing the lawn and
you run over a tennis ball.
More like you run over like a towel, because it really gets stuck in the blade, because the tennis ball just shoots it right out. This kind of and I turned off the trimmer and I had to pull a piece of skin off the. It was a small piece of skin, but I had to pull a piece of skin off.
All right, gross.
Anyway, I showered and I thought everything was fine. Then after I cleaned and showered, I put my boxer briefs on. But what's the point of that? How do we get into that?
I don't know.
Bloody hair. I have no idea about the shame. But the point is that yes, I understand that men and women are different. Women can talk about vaginas. I'll talk about my bloody balls. And the point is that while I respect that women have a forum, I think it's very, very important for men as well. And I mean this too for Republicans and Democrats. I mean, this liberal movement to silence people.
It should be a conversation. And like, yes, it sucks to feel silence, but you got to understand that that's been our experience since forever. So like, maybe cool it on like the woe is me.
Okay, but let's take it to the next level, because it's not a huge woe is me. It's just like, this needs to be addressed now. And I don't mean this with you. I just mean this with society. This silencing professors.
Since when has any like positive change happened overnight? It doesn't.
No, but this is bad. This is bad what's going on. The free speech it's...
Why wasn't it bad when it was happening to us?
No, but now it's happening. It's happening on the professor or the college level. It's happening where we're
but okay, you were just talking about unfair dress code, right? I just saw this thing about some all girls school where like they have to have their knees covered because their knees might distract their male professors. Right? Grown ass men might be distracted by knees. Isn't that a bigger problem?
No, the truth is men will be distracted. It just got to deal with it. That's part of life. You have to deal with it. That women
we
are
have to deal with it?
No. Men have to deal with it. You don't understand. I'm on your side, and that's the point. I'm on your side. So in this instance, when this girl that I was kind of having an argument with, she screen grabbed everything I said and put it on her wall and shamed me. But what the interesting part is that a lot of people, while they were like, oh, fuck him. A lot of people were like, oh, Dave's a good guy. You should give him a chance. Like, this is a weird conversation. There has to be a quote unquote verified aspect to it where it's like, I have earned the right to have this conversation. If you don't want to have it, fine. But if you do want to shame me, at least talk it out with me, because
you're having it in a public forum, which you're never going to get the benefit of the doubt in a public forum with a bunch of strangers judging you. That's why it doesn't have to be you on your soapbox shouting from the pulpit. Well, like, it should be a conversation that you are having with your friends in private.
It's a little different that it's a public forum, but it's also it is a close community of comedians, and we're supposed to be the ones not to be all crazy.
Has anyone ever said anything on the internet and didn't get shit from strangers for it? Literally anything. I can't talk about politics. I can't talk about the women's movement. I can't talk about any of that. I get shit from strangers, men and women alike.
What if this
People
guy that
have
talks shit to
differing
you,
opinions, and they don't care about your experience?
Wouldn't it be worse if this guy who talks shit to you was a photographer who worked in Los Angeles and you had 150 friends in common? This is like a small high school of people where while it's a stranger.
But the point is that you're saying there should be some sort of verifiable that I have earned the right to talk about this. Well, you haven't. You haven't, and that doesn't exist.
I have the right to talk about it in a respectful way. But
you're talking about it on the internet with strangers, expecting strangers to give you the benefit of the doubt, which does not exist.
No, I understand. I'm treading lightly. I understand. And in that post about women being more attracted to power, and the guy wrote in, well, what are you talking about? I have a girlfriend and I don't have any power. And I was like, you're a stand-up comedian. Sure, you're broke and poor, but we're not everything's about money. If it was that case, you wouldn't be with me. Like, I'm not a rich guy, but I think what I possess on the inside is way more valuable than whether or not I can play the stock market well. Do you know what I mean? And I'll be rewarded for that in my time, in whatever way I deserve to be rewarded. The point is that status needs to be seen. And the whole point of this topic, and we'll get out of it, but the whole point of it was that if men can acknowledge that women are attracted to their status, maybe they'll stop abusing it and learn that the best way to use your status is to just be a good, decent human being. Don't be Louis C.K. who invites someone into his hotel room and asks if he can jerk off, because even though that sounds right in some sort of twisted way, I asked him nicely, you have to realize your position of power you're not famous, you don't have money. At his point, he wasn't famous, he didn't have a TV show. What he had was a giant status in the stand-up community. And when you extend that to the level of the Weinsteins, the Kevin Spaceys, you realize these are psychos, literally, who are using their power and their status in a way to abuse their victim, and the victim doesn't feel like they can respond to it. And we need to teach our men, boys, my brothers, Jack and Jameson, that just because you're the social chair in your fraternity doesn't mean you get to grab a girl's, you know what I mean? Like, you need to know where you stand and use that. That doesn't mean don't pursue power in the sense of status. If you're a rapper or a poet or a biologist, you do whatever you can to give back to the world and be a good person, and the right girl will find you. Can we agree on that? Like, that's where it's at, is that the law of attraction will introduce you to your soulmate when you've reached that status level where you're happy with who you are on the inside.
Sure.
Okay, good. So, moving on. The other thing that I was going to mention as far as topics was this guy. His name, I wrote it down. I never write notes. Jay Feely was a retired NFL player. Did you see the photo he posted? He was prom photo with his daughter. He's a white guy. I don't know if it's important to know, but he's a white dude, and he had his daughters. It was their prom, so he had the daughter on one side and the daughter's date on the other, and he had a handgun in his hand, and he said, "Wishing my daughter a happy." He got I mean, currently, like today, it's happening. The people are going nuts, being like, "How So, what's your take on that photo?
I don't care.
You don't care?
I don't care.
Is it fine? Is it fine though, or is it not good?
I think it's fine, but I know there are plenty of people out there that disagree. I think it's fine.
Well, what he did is genius, and he doesn't need the traffic. He's made his money. He's set for life. He can't. He's probably, I don't know what he's got for advertisers. Like he's not he's not like a radio host. Maybe he is. I don't think so. Where like people can call in and be like, you got to take him off the air. He did the two topics that people love to discuss the most: gender and guns, and he put him in the same photo.
Yeah.
And because the women are saying, how dare he, if she wants to exercise her right to have sex, then people are like, you're...
And also that, like, you know, it's sort of like implying that she can't take care of herself, that he'll take care of her for her. But also, like, doesn't everyone need a tribe? Doesn't everyone need people who have their back? Doesn't everyone need a family? Yeah, those are good things. So, like, who fucking cares?
But you know the country song, Cleaning My Gun? It's about a guy he'll be like, just take your time with Susie. I'll just be on the porch cleaning my gun. And that's like the punchline to the song. Do you know the song?
No.
It's fucking fantastic. You just cleaning my gun. And I don't know. It's a fucking crazy time we're in. And I guess what we're going to learn is that there might be a bubble to the quote unquote comment section on life. I mean, people might just say, fuck it, I'm turning Twitter off. I'm turning the comments off.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do my thing. I posted a status. I posted a tweet, and I was like, this might get shit. But I was like, can we study the correlation between bad haircuts and mass shooters? And I was kidding, but it's kind of right. Every mass shooter has the worst haircut. Or even those dudes, that husband and wife couple that had like their 9 kids locked in the basement for a decade. Horrible haircuts. Every one of them has like shitty bangs. I think if a guy's got bangs, you should not be able to give him a gun. I think that's where we should be at.
Yeah.
Okay, good input. Do you want to talk about this smoothie? What's going on? Half an hour in. I don't want to put you on, but I think it's time.
Yeah.
I think this is the one announcement you have to make that isn't, like there'll be good announcements. Tasha's not pregnant, folks. That's not what this announcement is. Go, the floor is yours.
No, I don't want the floor.
No, but if you resist in this moment, I'm going to look like the asshole. But you've talked about it on Instagram.
Well, I haven't really talked about it. I've talked to some friends and family, and I posted on Instagram.
I just don't want it to look like I'm pulling this out of you.
It does look like you're pulling this out of me.
Okay, then don't talk about it. If I'm pulling it out of you, I thought that you were comfortable.
You put me on the spot.
Yeah, literally with the light on and the camera. I want people. I want people to be able to show you love. And you know that they do. We get a lot of love online, but this is slightly different sort of love.
Well, why don't you hand me my books?
Okay. Keep talking.
I don't have anything to say. Dave's been really sweet to me. He's been really great, helping me with my new diet.
Tasha's transitioning.
I am transitioning. I got diagnosed with Lyme disease and some friends.
I love that you have 2 books. One called How Can I Get Better? And the other one's called Why Can't I Get Better?
Well, this was the first one. This Dr. Horowitz. This was the first one, and it was like a bestseller, right? And like people with Lyme consider this sort of a Bible, but it's sort of written, and I haven't read it, but getting there. It's sort of written like super in depth, and people say that it reads like doctory. It reads like very like specific and doctory and sort of like whatever. This is the follow-up book by the same guy, and this one's supposed to be a little bit simpler. But
the dog's on the couch. Boom! Get off the couch! Get off!
He's been laying there this whole time. You didn't notice.
This dog, guys.
But anyway, yeah. So I got diagnosed with Lyme, and I'm making
treating
some
resistant Lyme and chronic disease. So So the Spark Notes. So we don't have, because it's not worth getting into like the nitty gritty. But the Spark Notes is that Lyme is basically a set of different co-infections.
Well, no, Lyme is its own, and then Babesia, one of my other ones, that's a co-infection.
So basically, if people think they have Lyme, like you did, you got tested, and I'm not saying I thought you were crazy, because in the end, I'm happy that you know what it is, but I thought you were a little hypochondriac. But you have to remember, you've probably had Lyme since we've been dating.
Yeah.
So all these ailments spoken of. I'm kind of like the, babe, your knee's fine, your ankle's fine. You don't have the spins, baby. You're not gonna faint. Like I've really, but I've been patient, but I've also been like, oh, Tasha's gonna faint. Okay, well, we'll get, like the typical thing that where, like when people are hangry, you've been living with this hangriness that's actually been a real thing, and you found out, and immediately
I think you owe me an apology.
Babe, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, but that's one of the biggest things that people with Lyme say is that like it's sort of an invisible disease, and that like other people just really don't understand. It presents itself in like many different ways. They call it like, what do they call it?
People that don't have Lyme, they just don't understand.
But you don't know what it feels like to feel like you're spinning and you're about to hit the ground.
And I read it and I read up on it, but I told you when you didn't know you had Lyme that I wasn't going to become an expert on some disease you thought you had, because you know what I mean. I'm not setting that precedence where like, oh baby, you think you've got some endometriosis, and I've got to know everything about it. But yeah, so I've done my research, and we'll continue to educate ourselves. It's important for the listening audience to know that you are reclaiming your health. You are kicking ass. You're drinking smoothies that I make, kale, full hard kale smoothies with turmeric and pepper and weird stuff, and you're taking stevia drops and all the homeopathic stuff that you can do along with the antibiotics that are going to be coming, and you're going to shed it from the system, and you'll be healthier because of it, because you're giving up sugar and grains and all these things, alcohol that you can't have. So you'll be healthier because of it. But and those are the cards you're dealt. And it's important when you're just dealt certain cards to play them. I'm so happy you don't have some sort of cancer or something that, is just taking over you. You've just got neighbors you need to evict.
Yeah, just going to evict some of this bacteria.
But as we know, it's hard to evict tenants. Tenants have a lot of rights, and so do these Lyme conspirators. They have rights in your body, and they won't give them up. So we're going to kick them out. And anyway, anything else you want to talk about that? Are you going to start a Lyme podcast?
I don't know. I've been listening. I sent you a link. Did you get it?
Oh, I missed that one.
You missed it?
Yeah, you said it from Mexico. I was like, I'm not going to coerce.
I was listening on the plane.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's some bad Lyme podcasts. Maybe you should do one where you just interview people with Lyme. I mean, that might be boring. I don't know.
No, this one's actually very informative. He had on some doctors that... I don't know. It was really informative.
It's a disease that, you learn people don't want to talk about doctors. It's kind of complicated. So I think it's not something people can expertly have their opinion on. So it's hard to find. You know
what I would recommend for any listeners who are interested in learning more? There's a documentary called Under Our Skin. It was on Amazon. I think it got removed. It was on Prime Video. I think it got removed. But if you Google search it, there are places to watch it for free online. But yeah, it's called Under Our Skin, and it's the spark notes of Lyme.
Yeah, I'm sure. Statistically, there are a handful of listeners who also have Lyme. Send Tasha an email, sexactuallypodcast@gmail.com. I don't want to give out your personal email. I'll just forward it to you.
Thanks, babe.
And or comment on our Instagram. Let her know she got that butt. She got that dumper. That bumper dumper. I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm sure you'll get some well wishes sent your way. And again, it's not something that I want to downplay, but at the same time, it is good to know. It's good to know for me, and we're all selfish. It's like, what's best for me? I want a happy and healthy girlfriend, obviously, but it's good to know because I think it has kept you like chronically fatigued, and it'll be nice to have a girlfriend who's. No, why are you smiling? Like I know I'm somehow gonna dig myself into a hole here, but it'll be nice to have a girlfriend who's fresh and regaining the control of her body and evicting those tenants.
Yeah.
And leaving more room for us to go clubbing.
Yeah.
Together. Anyway, so you met this girl Meg.
Mm-hmm.
And did you want to talk about the other thing you did?
What other thing?
The some food that isn't sugar or grains that you had?
No.
You don't want to talk about it?
No.
It's not weed. So just leave it at that. We can leave it at that.
No.
And you don't think it affected you at all?
No, not at all. But
you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You look like you're still smiling because of it.
No.
Is this the kid who got caught with their hand in the cookie jar? Yeah. Is that what it feels like?
Why? Who cares? Why are you putting me on the spot?
It's God's.
The whole
this is God. God grew certain things and you ate them in small doses, and that should be totally fine.
I think it is totally fine.
But what if I did that? What if I was okay? Let's switch it around because
there we go.
Genders are equal. Okay, then. Okay, equal gender. What if I took some drugs in another country with guys and girls at clubs? Would you be okay with that?
It was mostly with girls.
Mostly. It doesn't take a handful of dicks. It only takes one. Would you be okay with that? I'm going to Chicago on Wednesday. Show Wednesday night at the Comedy Bar. Come to Chicago. What if I'm out clubbing with my buddy Bedek van Poeker, my Belgian friend, whom I hope will do the podcast with me. It'll be fun. Going to go see a guy I studied abroad with. What if we noshed on, a bunch of God-made drugs, psychedelics, if you will? That wouldn't bother you? You wouldn't be like, oh, Dave's lost control of his facilities. He's going to cheat on me.
No.
Because I think that's the original thought when you told me what you did, and I wasn't upset, but I was also like, it's not my body. Like maybe that's something maybe that'll be good for you. You should Google like treating Lyme disease with psychedelics. Fuck do I know? How is anything pharmaceutical better than other shit that we have?
Yeah.
The natives, they gnawed on tree bark, and now we make ibuprofen, and I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure tree bark is the same as aspirin, right?
No,
isn't that where aspirin comes from?
All
the bark of willow trees
come from the rainforest. I mean, really.
Yeah.
They learn a lot from like animals and plants in the rainforest.
What about MDMA? What would you do MDMA? What if like there was some psycho
What's that again?
That's I think it's like ayahuasca.
No, I thought that was ecstasy.
Yeah, MDMA is Molly. Which I don't think we've done.
No, I think MDMA is ecstasy. And I think ecstasy and Molly are a little bit different.
No. I'm going to go on the record and saying MDMA is Molly. Molly is the pure form of ecstasy.
Okay.
I haven't done either. But that's what I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so congratulations on taking the next step of your life as you combat Lyme disease. And I wish you well from a close distance.
Yeah, I support you, but I don't.
That was a double eye roll you just did. What do you mean you don't support me? What does that have to do with me?
That's basically what you just said a minute ago.
Oh no, what are you talking about? I wish you well. I'm changing my diet too. I've got to have fistfuls of kale and turmeric and all this shit. But
you're gonna shrink your belly.
I am. I'm gonna shrink my belly. Although since you've been gone, all I've had is Little Caesars. I literally, the second you went to Mexico, I got a pie. I got Little Caesars. I got oh man, it was a good. And then the morning after, our oven was broken, so I was like, I can't heat. The oven was broken and we were out of eggs, and I was gonna make eggs. I was like, I'm gonna get healthy, and then there was 2 slices of Little Caesar left, no oven, and no eggs. So I was like, well, I had already put a giant slab of butter in the skillet to make eggs. And
so
then
you had buttered pizza?
So I put that pizza right on the fucking skillet, and I buttered it up. And then that's when the dog literally tried to attack me for the pizza. So that's what I learned what Boone's tipping point was when you butter up the Little Caesars, the dog goes nuts. Got a couple emails to read. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right, let me pull up the old laptop here. We haven't done a Tasha and Dave episode in a while, and it's good to catch up. I need to catch up on solo episodes. So maybe I'll have some more points of views on the solo episodes. But I think I said my piece with you regarding Lyme disease. It's a wicked bitch. But we're not going to use it as an excuse to be victims, right?
Hell no.
I said that in a way that was not how I intended. We're not going to use it to be victims. We've already talked about this. I said,
warriors.
We're not going to use it to be victims, right?
Warriors.
We're fucking warriors. Pound it out. Warriors. We're warriors. We're warriors, and we don't wear bras. We're the braless warriors. Email from Mal. Hi, Dave and Tasha. I've been listening to you guys for almost 2 years now. We need clubs based on how long people have listened. We need to come up with reward systems. I think Mal
pins. Well, I think there should be. We could get little pins for your.
What if it's like the 100 episode club or the 200 episode club? We'll have different levels based on how many you've listened to. We also have a whole chest full of dildos. So if you need a dildo, you're 2 years in, we'll send you a fucking anything you need. We have a lot. Anyway, I've been listening to you guys for 2 years now, and you're actually the only podcast that I've stuck with. Dave, I know you're always encouraging us to write in, but honestly, I relate to you guys on so many levels. I never knew which avenue to take. My boyfriend, who also went to URI, got me into your podcast when we first started hanging out. Now we live together, and even our dog will listen to the podcast during the day while we are gone. I love it. Hey, you got dogs. They like to hear us bicker. Put us on a couple episodes. They'll be hooked. If you're listening there, Rover, rate and review. 2 paws up. I was just listening to one of your recent episodes, and one of the phrases used by your guest really caught me off guard and hit deep. Guilt complex. I could go on and on. The amount of anxiety that self-bestowed guilt has brought into my life since I was 5 years old, but it has really been in the past year over self-reflection that I've realized what a huge part of it has played in my life. To avoid telling you my life story, I can just let you in on my current life. Right now, I'm a graduate student working towards a master's in animal science with a focus on nutrition physiology. In our lab, we are working with dairy cows. That sounds very moving. I really love the subject matter. You could laugh if you wanted to. Clearly you didn't. I could really, I know I'm being cheesy. Oh boy, here we are, folks. Moving on. Sorry if I made fun of cows. That's not my beef. Hey guys, I really love the subject matter, and I feel like I can make a huge positive impact in whatever community I settle in, which is really important to me. I feel like I thrive in the science-based community, and my advisor, whom I absolutely love, sees me pursuing a doctorate in the future in this field. Without sounding cocky, which, by the way, girl, you ain't sounding cocky. This is a private email I decided to read out loud. You're not sounding cocky at all. You have great status by studying. This, you're being, I love it that you're masters in studying cows, and here you are listening to these 2 cows on the air talk about their sex life. Bloody boxers. Without sounding cocky, I see myself doing that as well, almost feeling like it would be a waste of my talent or the work that my advisor has invested if I didn't seek to reach a higher position in my field. The whole idea seems attractive to me, but I get nervous that I pursue things to please others or because that will be what, quote unquote, is best for me. I've always needed creative outlets since I was young, and my ultimate dream would be to have a job where I can indulge in both my creative and scientific side. I can totally see myself creating locally sourced dog treats and making collars on the side. That honestly sounds like the most amazing thing in the world, but I cringe thinking about telling my boss, who has supported me fully in my interest for the dairy industry, that once I get my MS, Master in Science, I'm going to start sewing collars and making dog treats. I just clenched my teeth even writing that. You got the guilt complex, girl. And I hear you. I hear you on this. That is guilt complex. God forbid you're sewing collars. That is, you know what I mean? But I hear you. I understand. I relate. She's absolutely amazing. And I have bloody boxers and a business degree. I relate. I understand. She's absolutely amazing, and I know she wants me to be happy. I think maybe I'm scared to do something out of the norm in my community, so I just peg it that I would feel bad telling my advisor. If it's not clear, this is obviously not about my advisor. It's about me being unsure, flighty, guilty, etc. I need to stop while I'm ahead. Sorry if this is completely boring to you guys, but I love your words of wisdom. I love 2 loves. I love solo episodes, but I also love Tasha. She's awesome. I laughed when a male writer said that he doesn't like when Tasha interrupts you during the podcast, but I'm always like, Dave, you're interrupting Tasha. Oh boy, if I had pre-read this, I wouldn't have included this part. I think she said, I think it's probably a gender-related view. Haha. Love you both, though. Attached is our dog. I thought I heard the alarm going off. I heard something in the background. Gate. Oh, sorry. Jesus Christ, I'm so fucking ADD. Attached is our dog, a retired racing greyhound who also loves your podcast. Thanks for the great content, Mal. And it's a cute dog.
Show me the dog.
I don't want to show it because I don't know if I'm supposed to show this on air. It's a cute dog.
Yeah, that's a
Mal,
cute
if
dog.
it's okay, tell us and we'll share your Instagram. But woof. Well, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
So it would make you happy to make dog collars.
Yeah, but it's also risky. And she said the same thing, that it feels risky to do that when she's got like her safe bet now. But there's also no reason that you can't do both.
Oh my gosh. There's no reason you can't do both. If you want to make dog treats and you're studying nutrition as a master's, you have every right to make the fucking coolest dog treats. And that might be your foot in the door to become, a dog apparel enthusiast.
I just feel like we saw something on like the Today Show or something about a lady who turned her own homemade dog food business into like $1 billion business.
What you realize, like I started making these treats for Tasha and myself that are like ground up cashews in coconut oil and coconut shreds, and they're healthy and they're organic. And I'm like, this wasn't hard to do. So like if you have the recipe for how to make a kick-ass dog treats, and you've got that master.
But you know what? Like, there's no reason she can't continue to do both. She could make dog treats on like Saturday.
Yeah.
And, you know, work out and start putting out feelers, because no business starts like fully formed, right? Like you always have to start small. So you start small, you start in your kitchen, you make some homemade dog treats, you walk around to some local businesses and see if they would want to carry some batches. And that's where you start. And if it starts to pick up and it puts you in the position where you have to quit your job.
What a beautiful place.
Then you make your decision.
Yeah, when you find the perfect, crowdfunding thing that's like makes $400,000 and you're like, I literally have to quit my job to make this batch of dog cookies, and who knows what that leads to. And I mean, how many people will you affect in a positive way when you make something as simple as a cookie for a dog? I mean, that's only the beginning.
It's true that like most dog food these days is like terrible for your dogs. We should definitely be feeding our dog like home cooked meals. It's almost better when you have a simple issue like this. It sounds complex, but do you understand the guilt? I mean, you kind of like left an industry that you were working really hard in college. Who did you feel guilty towards any of your professors, or no.
I mean, in college you're a little detached
I
from your
didn't feel any guilt. I felt but I'm also one of those people that really needs like a cut and dry. Clear. I am terribly indecisive, and I sort of need decisions to be made for me.
Let me ask you this.
There was no question that I was ridiculously unhappy with what I was doing. I felt unfulfilled and unhappy, and something came along that made me feel excited.
MDMA. I'm kidding. The chance to work in the modeling and print industry and work with creative people and things like that. Because you weren't coming from far, but you were in the fashion world, and now you're back in the fashion world, just in a different sort of way. I think. What about your parents? I mean, like, did they help pay for your college? That's where it's always tricky when parents put money into things, because then they can manipulate you. And your mom did this to your brother, and she's every right to. And parents go, I'll take away your phone. That's the point. And then you finally go, fuck it, I'm moving out. I don't need your money. And then you move out and you go, oh boy, fuck.
No, I mean, I did. I took out my own loans, and they definitely were helping me with college. And they were upset that I, was not interested in going back to school.
It's funny though,
but they kind of did the same thing, like, don't come crawling back here, whatever. But I already was determined not to. So there were plenty of times where like I didn't have enough money for a $5 footlong because I had to pay my rent in New York. And like, but you hustle and get it done.
So I did a bikini contest in upstate Kentucky. That's okay. You can do a bikini contest. You have every right to make money off of your body.
It's not okay for you to put me on blast with things that are personal.
The bikini contest?
Which you've done multiple times today.
And I figured if I was going to make you upset, I was going to just kind of like clear out. You're not really upset.
I'm not really happy.
Well, if you're not happy, you should find something you love.
That's the point.
I think that is the point. Finding something you love, and to think that you actually know what you would love to do is a brilliant place. When we meet people, and we're all guilty of it. My brother's in college, and your brother's going into college, and you meet people that are like, I want to make a shit ton of money. You go, fuck man, that's gonna end one of two ways, and it's not gonna end healthy. You're gonna end by like. You're going to crash and burn at some point, and you might need that. But if you're not happy with what you do, chances are you're not going to end up finding happiness through money and wealth.
I think the most important thing really is passion. It really is. And she seems very passionate about the work that she's doing. I think she's also just curious about something else that she's passionate about. But that's the difference between like her situation and my situation, where I had no passion for the thing that I was doing. I had nothing but loathing.
So you had a no-brainer moment.
Right. So that it made sense to me that I needed to follow these breadcrumbs, because like, that obviously it wasn't working. But, if she has something that she doesn't hate doing every day, if she actually does feel fulfilled and she loves working with her mentor and she's excited by the work that she's doing, I don't think it's one of those things where like, don't feel like you need to throw it all away.
Plus, she's not like an accountant who wants to get into this, which is good. Like she can at work. The more you learn in the higher your position becomes, even if you're just studying cows, eventually that's going to help towards whatever career you have moving forward. And that's look, hey, congratulations on knowing what you want, and let it be known we'll be the first to buy your dog treats, right?
Yeah,
we'll be the first to buy your dog treats. We'll promote them on the podcast. We promote anything that is self-actualizing and full of passion. And I'll tell you this, I don't care how busy your job is studying cows, which, by the way, I was going to make a fat girl joke, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
I was going to make a joke about, hey, I go to the gym too. Why do they have to be girls? Guys can be cows too. Guys can be fat cows. Girls just don't care about their guy's appearance because they want a man who's in a position of power. Weinstein. Oh, no, he's a bad example because he. Okay, jeez, don't look at me like that. I'm talking and I can't take back what I say. Okay, so I'm just trying to keep talking till I can spiral it back into my thought. Folks, pursue your passion. Is that the end of the episode? We're at 54 minutes. I wanted one more shout out.
Okay.
You're really bad at...
Babe, you forced me to be on the podcast this morning when I obviously have a cold. I'm completely run down from 3 days in Mexico.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did the club scene in Mexico tire you out? I was telling someone this. I was really happy you went to Mexico, but at the same time, it was annoying because I got stressed out, need to pack to go to Mexico, Tasha, and I got exhausted, just got back from Mexico, Tasha. I got none of the perks of a happy Tasha. Would you agree with me? You hated me when you left. You nearly hated me when you came back. What do I get out of your...
I did not hate you when I came back. I was mad that you left the place a wreck, which is on you. It's got nothing to do with me.
Do you remember how it was when you left? I did the laundry. I did all these things so you could pack your bags and be happy. I can't tell you how giving tree I was in this moment. I was so giving tree, I was left as a stump. And you know what you said when you came back to the stump? Babe, there's sawdust everywhere. Yeah, bitch, because I cut down the tree.
Shut up.
Sorry, dame. Yeah, dame, because I cut down the tree. And I'm left with nothing but a stump and your initials etched into the side of my bark. Okay?
I just saw a video of a little kid reading the giving tree with his mom at like bedtime. It's sobbing his eyes out.
I read it to Jack Christmas Eve, my brother Jack, and this was like 6 or 7 years ago, so he was like 8, and I was drunk. And I started crying reading him The Giving Tree. It is the saddest yet sweetest book out there. It really is. I mean, it's the perfect story of the codependent. It really is, because the codependent will cut down his tree just so you have a place to sit. And what does he get out of it? He provides you shade. He provides you all these things. What does he get out of it? Just the happiness to know that he was wanted. It's deep. I'll get teary-eyed thinking about it. It's deep. Anyway, Rainer. We got an email from Rainer. Hello, Dave. Thank you for so much. Thank you. Well, I think this is his second language, so it's a little botchy. Thank you so much for your podcast. I am a huge fan. Have been for quite some time now, starting when you did your double episode with Justin Foster. Since then, the SAP has been a fixed part of my podcast subscription list and a great joy to listen to. But actually, I'm not writing only to boost your ego, but also because I want to offer my help. In episode 275, you mentioned that you'd like to start an email list. And in response to that, I want to offer you my unsolicited, free, and hopefully not useless advice. And then he offered me all this advice, which I don't want to read. Because, guess what, Rainer? I just started my email list doing exactly what you recommended I should do. So maybe we were on the same wavelength. Maybe you sent this email out and I telepathically absorbed it. But yeah, I started using MailChimp for the email list. I'm sending them out every 2 weeks. If you want to subscribe to the email list, I'm going to end up making one of those like text the SAP to so-and-so. I don't have that set up yet. But if you email sexactuallypodcast@gmail.com, it'll automatically put you in the email list. The email list, we're sharing photos, more like in-depth thought on the podcast, and it's just a way to stay in touch when I'm in your town doing stand-up, or if we're on the road doing podcasts and visiting people, and we're in your neighborhood, you'll know. So you're going to need to subscribe to Sex Actually Podcast. So email us, sexactuallypodcast@gmail.com. You could just subscribe me, or you could actually write in a little bit about yourself while Tasha's coughing in the background. Whichever one you want to do. Anyway, Rainer, thank you so much for writing in and offering that advice. And just so you know, now that you've written in, you'll be added to the email list. And then he said, at last, assuming that you're not, if you need any help setting up, I would gladly do this for you as a thank. And then he wrote this at the end. I would gladly do this for you as a thank you for the many hours of joy you beamed over the interwebs right into my ears. Cheers and all the best from beautiful Vienna in Austria. And then in parentheses, he wrote, not Australia. We do not have kangaroos. And then he sent a photo. Are you okay? Are you coughing and crying?
I'm hacking.
Are you allergic to us Austrians? Rainer, I know what Austria is. I've been to Salzburg. I did the Sound of Music tour in Salzburg, Austria with my sister. We fought the whole time. It was a bunch of lovebird. We didn't realize it was like a couples tour. So it was a bunch of old people like wanting to study the sound of music. And it was like all these like white-haired old people. And then it was just my sister and I and she'd be like, Dave, shut the fuck up. Oh man, you've never seen Chase really upset at me. But boy, I hate to say this because it's weird to say, but you and Chase both know how to box me out of life, like just emotionally and mentally.
What does that mean?
Like you know how to like pout. You literally last night turned your back to me and put your arms up like this, and I was like, you don't realize how much of a 2-year-old you look like right now. Like you don't have any clue. Anyway, we've covered her a lot today. I think I got everything I wanted to say off my chest. How we doing there? Are we good? Making bras mandatory in high school. Emails. Jay Feely gun pick. Are you all right? Should we just get going? Can you recover? Or are you just going to cough the whole time? People think that you're probably like coughing because of the Lyme, but I assure them.
This is just a tickle in my throat.
You're crying.
I know.
Boy, are you wearing fake eyelashes?
Yeah, they're still on from like 3 days ago.
I am dating a tramp.
That's not very nice, and everyone's going to be mad at you.
I'm looking at you right now thinking like, wow, your eyelashes have really grown and thick. How old are you? And you've got glued on lashes? I love it. I'm not hating on you for it.
No, you are talking mad shit about me today.
I'm talking so much shit. I think people like to listen to this shit talking. I'm taking one for the team because I don't think most men get to talk shit to their girl this way. But I can do it in the guise of an episode. Just so you know, I don't even release these episodes. This is just me getting a chance at these cords aren't even connected to anything. I'm just talking shit out of my ass to you. Are we gonna have a good week this week?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I think you're going to owe me one for all of the shit you put me through this morning.
The massage currency?
Yeah.
All right. I'll give you a nice little massage for this. Anyway, if you would like to follow Tasha's journey in life, the best way to do that is on her Instagram, at Tasha Courtney.
Yeah.
You can leave her comments. Just so you know, sometimes I read them, and if they're creepy, I acknowledge it. That's all. I'm not trying to sound like a psycho.
Leave nice ones. I could use some.
You got a dude who wants
notes.
you to go to Ohio to see him. So you think that dude met you at the bikini contest?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Very strange. Now he didn't mention the contest. He just like vaguely said like that time you won something, and I was thinking like I immediately go to blowjobs. Like I just think of like the worst case scenario. Like what's the worst case scenario for a guy to find something out about his girlfriend? I think to find out that your girlfriend won best dick sucking. I think that would be...
Is that a thing? Is that a thing that people do, best dick sucking? I'm
sure somebody is listening going, well, in college, we had an unwritten trophy we'd give. I'm sure... I don't know. Sometimes I'll go on Reddit and there'll be like images of... that people submit of like their sex images. There's so many different categories, and one is like it's called like first in or something. It's that moment in sex when you first put the dick in the vagina. It's actually really sexy, I think, because it's like that moment where like the vagina doesn't know if it's going to accept the dick. It's not like completely lubed up. This is all
so weird.
This is all consensual, but I think guys understand what I'm saying. That moment where the dick's like, I'm not lubed yet, but are you? And then let's find out. And then it's like, I'm knocking at the door. And then there's that moment where it's, and then it goes in. I didn't need to add the sound effect, but I think, you know what I mean? And it goes in. And there was this one image, or like it was like a GIF or GIF or whatever. So it was like, it's like that quick quarter-second moment. And I was like, is that fucking Tasha? And it wasn't you. But I was like thinking, how horrible would this be?
Why on earth would you even ever think that it was your girlfriend and not just a stranger on the internet?
Well, because it looked like you to an extent, and I had to be like, what? Because that would have been...
It was a person? Was this a porn GIF?
Yeah, but it was like, it's all amateur stuff. And I'm thinking, that would be the worst to find out that your significant other was like, and it could have been, you have every right to, I don't know, have sexual experiences in your past. But like for that to be like smacked in front of my face would have been a huge buzzkill. Because, yeah. But at the same token, we'll end on this, wrap it up here. With Mexico, you posted a little, some videos and photos on your, did you save them on your Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay, so go to Tasha's Instagram if you want to see her Mexico trip.
I'll put it in the stories that sit at the top.
Yeah, make a little Bud Light Mexico. You went there with Bud Light. But part of me was like, whoa, what if she started hooking up with that girl Meg? And do you find her attractive?
Sure, she's really cute, but we're not going to hook up.
But just so you know, I would consider that cheating. But
I know you have told me this.
No, I'd consider that cheating. But at the same time, the thought of it was sexy to me. The thought of being like, oh, because I was like, who you rooming with? And I was just happy it wasn't that other chick. Because there's this other chick who once in a time might have made a move, and that pissed me off. Because I was like, if that was a dude, I'd be like, hey, dude, fuck you. You want to fight? You want to do this? You want to touch my girl? You're gonna touch my fist, bitch. You fucking cunt.
Really? Is that what would happen? Yeah,
I think that's what would happen if someone that knows you knows that you're dating me and put a move on you. I'm pretty sure I would because I'm a zenned out guy, but at some point when you're throwing shit like that in your face, it's hard to twist it in a way that's not like, really, bro? Really? But in this case, it was a dame. So what am I supposed to do? Hey, fuck you. And I've seen her plenty of times, but like, just so you know, I know, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like one of those looks like, hi, good to see you. Go fuck yourself. You're not, you don't get what it's like. Because guys, we have to deal with each other in this like mutually assured destruction. It's a nuclear war. If I fuck your chick, you do this. It's like, bro, fuck you. But girls don't have to do that. Girls can get away with catty shit because they're probably not going to get in a fist fight over it. Most likely. You know what I mean? So like guys, when a guy's brushing to another guy at the bar, 99% of the times, hey man, my bad, can I get you a drink? No problem. Guys become very nice to each other because in the end, we don't want to fight over a smudged shoe, you know? But then once in a while, we get the guys like, dude, go fuck yourself. And you go, oh, geez, really? This is what we're doing? And then, like my buddy, my cousin Tim, I have to walk him out of the bar. You've seen my ways of de-escalating situations that are unneeded fights. I'm not fighting with some random guy because my buddy said he didn't support the troops and it's some like drunken mishap. I'm not trying to fight. I'm trying to get pizza. And then 10 minutes later, we're getting pizza and I go, oh, I am directly 100% responsible for us eating pizza and me not having a black eye right now. 100%. I'll give myself that credit. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, 200%. I had to manhandle my cousin.
A, out of the bar, and then B, again on the street.
While the other guy was still talking shit and following us. And it's like, look, and I just had a stand-up show. So like I'm feeling the dopamine rush, feeling good. Oh, the show went well. I'm feeling good. I'm with my lady. And at the end of the night, my cousin ended up getting a blowjob from the girl we were with. She won best blowjob of the night. See, there is a trophy for it. See how I tie that all in? That's improv, folks. But I am directly responsible for him getting his dick sucked. So I got myself pizza, you pizza, and I got my cousin's dick sucked, all because I de-escalated a fight. Thank you very much. Follow Tasha at Tasha Courtney. Email us sexactuallypodcast@gmail.com. And I'm on Instagram at dneals, DNEALZ. We good?
We good.
All right, blowjob of the year. And what was that? What were we going to call this episode?
Something about bras.
Bras and tits.
Free the it was not free. It was not. It was normalized the nipple.
This was normalized the nipple. Be perky. Bye.
Bye.